I'm classy. F this peach booty brutally murdered. Peach booty, it was an accident. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and today we are back with another mukbang. Woo! I'm so excited because today we are comparing and tasting and deliciously devouring 5 different places famous chicken nuggets abyss. So here we have 5 of the most, what I think is the most famous in LA for their chicken nuggets, which is McDonald's here. We have KFC popcorn chicken nuggets here. This one is the Crack Shack chicken oyster nuggets. I've never had them before. They're super famous in LA and San Diego. We've got the Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets abyss. And then here we have Korean chicken soy honey butter nuggets with some Chick-fil-A waffle fries, some pickled radish, and some mango. This is called border slaw. It's like mango, pineapple, all of that in a delicious slaw, and some sauces, okay?
This is the weirdest combination.
We're about to get saucy. Well, I felt like if I just got fast food nuggets, like just straight up like Burger King, McDonald's, I would get so sick of the nuggets that I wouldn't enjoy the video. So I had to get something a little bit different, like the Korean nuggets, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Besides, you've had these Korean nuggets and you liked it. Don't complain. I guess we're just gonna jump in and we're gonna get started. I'm gonna start with the Chick-fil-A nuggets in Polynesian sauce. That's how I used to eat it all the time, especially in high school.
Where are these from?
KFC? Why, you don't like it?
Okay.
My sink be squirting. Oh my god. Wow. Craziest thing, I had to order McDonald's twice today because I postmated all 5 of these places. Hashtag seriously not sponsored. No, I don't really love them too much, right? So then I order the nuggets. He goes out to the Postmates, grabs a bag of McDonald's, brings it in, and he goes, oh, babe! And I'm like, yeah. He always does stuff to scare me, okay? So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Go put the nuggets on the island because we're still waiting for all the other nuggets. And he goes, there's no nuggets. And I go, yeah. And he goes, there's tangerines. And I go, yeah. And then he goes, no, really? And I said, yeah. And then he comes over, shows me the bag. Inside the McDonald's brown paper bag was 4 old tangerines, a ranch sauce container, and then another ranch sauce, just the lid. Like the little wrapper lid that you pull off.
It's crazy.
Do you think the Postmates did it, or do you think McDonald's did it?
Gotta be Postmate, because when was the last time?
And then also, like, it wasn't in a way where you couldn't see what it was. Like, you just look into it, and you can obviously tell it's 4 tangerines.
Or maybe he wants you to eat healthier.
No, then he probably would have left a note. Like, hey, no. I ordered Postmates of McDonald's chicken nuggets, and I'm so excited, but I'm not even f***ing you. This is what came in the bag. They gave me 4 nasty tangerines, and like, what is that? That looks like a wrapper. A old ranch top wrapper.
I don't know. These are delicious.
The chicken oysters? Okay,
delicious.
Let's try these. This is like a spicy sauce, I believe.
What? Where's spicy sauce? Nice. Right? How come we haven't had a mukbang from them?
We have.
We have? Oh.
It's the fried chicken and donuts video we did.
Oh, spicy.
It's good. Is it oyster? Is it chicken? I don't know. It's a chicken oyster. So today's topic of discussion is going to be one that infuriates you to the bone. I feel like I've had some scary ones that make you not be able to sleep at night, but this one's just going to piss everybody off, okay? Especially if you are a mother or soon to be mother, or you plan on having kids, right?
Okay.
This has been highly requested, and I kind of stopped myself from doing this because I briefly Googled the case, right? And it said that she was in Orange County jail. And I was like, oh, hell no, that is way too close to home. This lady got out of jail, and she's going to come kill me, right? It's a 30, 40-minute drive. So I was like, absolutely not. Not today. I'm not talking about this on the internet. And then I realized in Florida, they have an Orange County, and this lady is from Florida. And so I was like, you can't get me.
Funny.
just a plane ride away. But I'm like, nope, you can't get me, okay? Obviously, I have no idea the way state borders work, but what's good, what's poppin'? The end of this story is so full circle. Please wait till the end, because when you get to the end, you're gonna be even angrier than as you get angry in the middle. So, this started in Orlando, Florida in 2008, which, by the way, I think in 2008, I was in Orlando, Florida. Does anybody care? I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure I was, so that's kind of creepy, right? A woman by the name of Cindy. These are dry.
Crunchy, though.
I feel like I'm eating chips.
Yeah.
I feel like these are so dry but crunchy. They're more like noisy, you know? But I'm gonna eat a McDonald's. You know, sometimes you just crave a McDonald's. Wow, they're really crunchy. So, Cindy calls the police. Florida police. And she's frantic. She's freaking out. And she says, hey, listen, we've got a problem. And the police are like, okay, tell us what's going on, right? And she says, my granddaughter, who's 3 years old, her name is Kaylee, she's missing. And the police are like, your 3-year-old granddaughter is missing? Okay, ma'am, tell us everything, right? And she goes, she's been missing for 3 weeks. And so everyone's like, what? So she's like, for 3 weeks. And my daughter's car smells like there's been a dead body. So the police are like, what? So the police rush over to their house where it's Cindy and George. Those are the grandparents. And their daughter is Casey. Now, Casey's daughter is the 3-year-old Kaylee. They all live together in the same house in Florida. Now, this is where it gets a little bit weird. Well, just to give you a little bit of backstory, maybe this will help your understanding of, like, the family dynamic. So Casey, ever since she was younger, she was a really big partier. Like, if you Google pictures of her, a lot of them are either in the courthouse or in the club.
In the courthouse?
Yeah.
Oh, because of this case?
Yeah.
I see.
No, she's not, like, partying up in the club or courthouse. Or she's in the club. Or, like, house parties. I don't know what this cheese is. It came with the Korean. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think you should shade anyone for their past. So, like, it doesn't matter that she's a partier. But she's 19 years old. And she comes home and her parents realize she's getting a little thick. Now, it's not like the peach booty, you've been going to the gym, you've been doing some squats kind of thick, and it also ain't the, girl, you ate too many nuggets recently kind of thick. Like, something about her is a little off, and so her parents start to get nervous, and come to find out, she had an unplanned pregnancy at the age of 19. She had a couple of boyfriends around the time that she was supposed to conceive. Her baby daddy is unknown, actually. People suspect that the family knows, but they haven't made it public, and on the birth certificate, it's unknown.
It's still unknown to this day. Okay.
Like, nobody has come out and said, I'm her father, right?
Yeah.
The Korean fried chicken's good.
Which one's your favorite? Koreans?
The Koreans. Did you just say Koreans? I actually like the Chick-fil-A, the Korean, or the McDonald's a little bit.
What?
These two I don't love too much.
Really?
Yeah.
I like them.
So she's pregnant. She has really no way of taking care of this baby. So her parents are like, okay, we're going to help you raise this child with you. And even then, they had so many fights. They felt like she was a bad mom. And I mean, I feel like your first time parenting, you're probably going to be a bad mom, but they said that it was extreme. Like, she just still cared about partying. You know, most of the time with teen moms, they usually, like, get their shit together once they see the baby. They're like, okay, this is a real life baby, right? But she allegedly kind of didn't. So they've been living together. Fast forward to 2008. Kaylee, the daughter, is 3. And Casey tells her parents in June, hey, listen, I've got like a work assignment in Tampa, Florida. I got to go. So then she leaves and she takes her daughter, and the grandparents never see the daughter again. So every day they'd call and they say, hey, listen, we're going to go visit you. We want to see Kaylee. We miss her so much. Because people are saying, like, at this point, they've established almost like a parenting bond because they live and they raise the kid. So it's almost like a parent, you know?
Yeah. They just feel strongly connected to the kid, right? Like how my grandparents feel about me.
You know what I heard though from my mom? That when you're a grandparent, you still love your child more than your child's child.
I'm sure.
I always thought my grandparents loved me more than they loved my parents, but apparently not.
What?
You know, I always thought grandparents
They're
love
just
the
nicer
grandkids
to you.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I heard they have more of a emotional
But also,
attachment.
don't you think like the reason why parents are so much more crazy about their kids is because they love them more? You know how grandparents always just say, oh, let them eat whatever they want. Oh, let them do this. Let them have fun. But like if parents are so crazy because they're like, this is my kid. I want them to be perfect.
You want to know a funny thing?
What?
My dad's mom loved me a lot more than she loved my sister. And she straight up told me that it's because when she looks at me, she doesn't see my mom. She sees my dad. Because I look just like my dad.
Yeah.
So it's almost like seeing her own child. But then when she sees my sister, she sees like a mix of my mom and my dad. So then it's like, oh, grandchild. But then she looks at me and it's like straight up my dad, you know?
She told you that?
Yeah.
She's like, you're lucky because you look like my son.
My son, who's a 50-something-year-old man. You look just like him. Congratulations, boo. Okay, anyways. So the police have no idea what the hell is going on. They go over to investigate because the 3-year-old is goddamn missing, and they start to investigate everybody. They ask the grandparents what's been going on. The grandparents let them know that she left for 3 weeks, never came back. Every time they asked to speak to their granddaughter, it was always something. Oh, she's with the nanny. Oh, she's here with her friends. Oh, she's doing this. Oh, I'm busy, mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she would even go visit her parents' house to pick up things or pick up food, you know, and never bring the granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And always had an excuse. Now, the day that Cindy, the grandma, called was because she finally had enough. She was like, it's been 3 weeks. Let me see Kaylee. And I think, like, from reading the reports, it seems like a part of her kind of knew something really bad was happening.
But didn't we just say the parents, like, they will always love their own kids more than their grandchild?
You'll see that, too.
Oh.
It gets really weird, right? So then she's like, okay, mom, I'll take you to her, right? They hop into her car. They start driving. Mm-hmm. And they're almost aimlessly driving. And her mom is like, what are you doing? Where are you taking me? Where is she, right? Mm-hmm. And finally, Casey realizes that she can't lie anymore about this. So she looks at her mom and she goes, okay, mom, the truth is the nanny stole her. So the mom is like, what? And so she goes, yeah, 3 weeks ago, I dropped off Kaylee at the nanny's place and I still haven't heard from her. She won't give her back. She's been kidnapped.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm still trying to process that, even though I've like read it in so many different articles. Saying it out loud, I'm like, what? Straight up, she said that. So Cindy is like, what the hell? Why didn't you call the cops?
Yeah.
And she's all like, I was scared that if I called the cops, the nanny would have done something, like held her hostage or like hurt her.
It's already held hostage.
Yeah, so then she's like, okay, well, it's been 3 weeks, you crazy girl, right? Mm-hmm. So they finally call the cops. Well, Cindy calls the cops, and the cops come to investigate. They get all of the statements. Who's the nanny? What's her name? Where do you work? Like, all the basic stuff. Yeah. Now, they start finding really weird things in this entire case. Number one being, they start kind of backtracking, even through social media and stuff, of where the hell Casey has been for the past 3 weeks that she did not report her child missing. Yeah. And it turns out she's been partying it up. She even got a tattoo that said Bella Vida, which means beautiful life. So it's almost like, is your daughter really missing? Like, you act like you have no daughter, literally. Mm-hmm. You're just, like, you don't give a shit. I mean, moms can party, but not when your daughter's missing. To give you an example.
That's really strange.
My sister's dog, okay? We're comparing a dog and a human, right? Her dog went missing, ran away for 5 days. Every single person in that household called off of work. They barely slept. One person always stayed home just in case, just to watch like the backyard and the front door, just to see if he would scratch at the door. To be like, hey, bitch, I'm back home, you know? Like 5 days. Your child goes missing and you go to parties and you get a tattoo? It's just weird. So that was the first weird sign. Second weird sign, this is the weirdest, right? They ask her, what's the nanny's name? She gives this really long name. But they say, We call her Zanny the nanny for short. Her name's Zanny. Grandparents have never met with Zanny. You know what's even crazier?
What?
Zanny, she exists. She lives in Florida, a couple towns over. She's never heard of the Anthonys, and she is not a nanny. So it's almost like Casey went into a phone book, picked a random name, and was like, oh, that's my nanny.
That's stupid.
And the nanny was like, I'm not a nanny, first of all, and second of all, I don't know you or your family or your kid.
I'm the CEO.
I'm the mayor.
I'm the mayor.
I'm the mayor of this town, lady. I'm not a nanny. What do you mean? I've never seen your child. Right? Could you at least pick a nanny? Like from a nanny service? This nanny even, or not this nanny, but the woman named by the nanny even went to go and sue Casey because for slandering her name.
Oh, yeah.
Because this was highly publicized in Florida. For a lot of reasons. So the nanny isn't her nanny. Okay. So you're saying the person who allegedly kidnapped your child doesn't even know you? And all the numbers and the addresses that she's giving for this nanny, Zanny the nanny, were leading nowhere. It was sending the police on this wild goose chase that led nowhere.
Yeah.
The next weird thing that happened was they're like, oh, hey, maybe there's evidence of her at your workplace because the police are starting to suspect something fishy's going on. So they ask Casey, hey, where you work? And she says, I work at Universal Studios, right?
Huh.
Then one day the police come up to her and they go, take us to your office. We want to investigate. We want to look for things. Clues, maybe.
Yeah.
She goes, okay, I'll take you. They go to Universal Studios. They walk around aimlessly. And then she turns around, looks at the officers, and she says, okay, truth be told, I was actually fired from my job like years ago. Years ago, not months ago.
She is just something else. I've never seen...
Years ago, and I don't work here anymore. Meanwhile, her parents thought she worked there for years and still worked there. She did not work there. So the police are like, what? Right? So they arrest her. They don't arrest her for murder because the child is not found. They arrest her for child neglect, for not calling the cops within the 31 days or whatever. For criminal investigation obstruction. Like, you're putting us on these wild goose chases when there's a 3-year-old missing. We need to put all of our money and power into finding your child, not going to all these fake places you're giving us, you know? You're wasting our time. So she was arrested.
What do you think? Do you think she's just like really young and dumb?
No.
She was like 22, right?
What do you think? I mean, I'm 22.
Yeah, young and dumb.
But I feel like if my dog went missing, I would still call 911. And be like, hello? My Frenchie's missing. Really weird, right? Okay, sorry.
Where is this thing from?
Crack Shack, do you like it?
It's really interesting.
You don't like it, huh?
No, I'm eating it. It's really interesting.
You want some this?
No, I prefer this.
They start searching her car. They send some cadaver dogs over to the family house and also to her car. Now, the cadaver dog can smell when there has been a dead body somewhere in the area within a certain amount of time, okay? And they start barking and signaling at the back of her truck. In her trunk. Her car, right?
Yeah.
The car that her mom said smells like a dead body is in there.
How does mom know what that smells like?
I don't know. I heard that smell is really unforgettable. We can't even describe it. Because when a body dies, you know what happens, right?
Yeah, start decomposing and shit and stuff all come out.
It releases everything inside, yeah. Could you imagine?
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. I'm just saying. So then it
Why
barks.
are you pointing at the chicken? Why you say pointing at the chicken?
Oh, because now this is all inside me.
That's gross.
No, okay, sorry. I'm classy, you know. Take me to a fancy dinner. I can handle myself. I got mad. So then they're like, wait, it seems like there's been a child in here, possibly dead, but that's not enough proof. You honestly can't put someone in jail for murder just because a dog decides to bark in your car, okay? My dogs bark in my car all the time. So they're like, okay, that's not enough. So they do more searching. This is a national manhunt for Casey, who's 3 years old, okay? Everybody knows her. The grandparents are pushing out these posters. Where is Casey or Kaylee? Where is Kaylee, right? So then they finally, on December of 2008, they find her body. And this was actually submitted by a man named Royce. Now, Royce is a meter reader.
A meter reader. Wow. So that's the one gives you tickets?
No, that's a meter maid.
Oh, what's a meter reader is what's working
For like gas companies.
I see, I see.
Meter maid is the ones that look at the parking meter. So, meter reader calls the tip line and says, listen, I found a skeletal head in the forest while I was peeing. And it happened to be near the Anthony's house. So the police head on over, and sure enough, inside of a large plasticky bag was Kaylee, the 3-year-old, her body. And there was duct tape on her hair. There was duct tape on her mouth, allegedly. And they submit her body to autopsy. Turns out it is Kaylee. Now, this is the weird part. It is deemed a homicide, but they have no determined cause of death yet. They have no idea how she died, but it seems like a homicide, right? This will be pertinent to the story once we get into the trial section, right?
Yeah.
So they find the body. All clues lead to who? The mom, Casey.
Like, how's Casey not telling them anything? Obviously, everybody knows she's lying at this point.
So she's been in jail until trial, which is about, I think, 2 years after everything happened. So it took about 2 years of her being in jail. This is pertinent too. So finally, the trial starts. I mean, this trial was such a big trial in Florida. People were posting it on TV. Ratings for news networks went up because of this. People were fighting to get a seat inside the courtroom. Like, you would think that this is like Lakers courtside tickets.
Crazy.
People were fighting. Moms were pissed. Moms around the nation were like, F this mom, okay? She don't know shit. Because even if she didn't murder her child, which it looked like she did, you didn't call the cops, which is almost just as bad.
No.
Because you might have led to the murder.
And went
or
to
the
club.
death. Yeah, and went to clubs and stuff. So all the moms are pissed, right? So then the trial starts, and we get some really crazy plot twists.
It's not her? What? It's the grandma? No.
So the prosecution hits this trial hard. And they say, listen, we're going to drop some of the charges against you, but we are going to ask for the death penalty. We're going to ask for capital punishment in this case because this person, this mom, brutally murdered her daughter. And we know exactly how and why. And we have 400 pieces of evidence, right? They had a lot of evidence. So the way that the state said that it went down was that she was sick of being a mom, okay? She's young, she's in her prime, she never really wanted to settle down anyway. And this was all a mistake. This was not her life plan. The responsibility was killing her vibe, right?
Her vibe.
So they said she gave the baby a little bit of chloroform, which will knock her out, duct taped her mouth and nose so she couldn't breathe, suffocated her, and when Kaylee finally died, she threw her in her trunk for days until she found a way to get rid of the body. And now she finally feels free. And that's kind of why she got that tattoo too, to be like, hey, beautiful life, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's what the state was saying. That's the case against Casey. Now, Casey's lawyer hits the stand with their opening statement and says something even more shocking. And says, here's what really happened, okay? Kaylee, she died. She died by drowning in the family's pool. A tragic accident, yes, right? But Casey wasn't even the one to find her. It was actually George, her dad.
Huh?
Kaylee's grandfather found her drowned in the pool and looked at Casey and said, hey, listen, daughter, You call the cops right now, you'll be in jail for the rest of your life for child neglect. Do you want that? Do you want to rot in jail? So here's what we gotta do. It was an accident, okay? And then now you're probably wondering, well, how could Casey, knowing her daughter died, how could she go to clubs and live her life? Well, she's used to hiding behind pain. She's used to feeling a lot of pain, and she's used to just shoving it away and having fun. Because she has been sexually abused by her father, George, for all of her life since she was 8.
Whoa.
So everyone's like, what? Even if that's the case, what? Right? So everyone's so confused. And they're all like, what just happened? What the hell just happened, right?
Were they there with the mom and dad in the court?
So the trial proceeds. Gets wild. But out of those 400 pieces of evidence, we're going to cover a couple because I'm not going to cover all 400. And I think these are the couple that I thought were the most interesting. And it's that the first one, they found a hair in Casey's trunk that matched Kaylee. And they're thinking, okay, but that's her daughter.
Yeah.
But apparently, I didn't know this. Hair gets like this band around the root if it falls off after a body is already dead.
What?
And it was one with a band around the root. So it's an after-death hair.
That's crazy.
So they're like, well, we found a hair after she died in your trunk.
Wow.
Right? The second thing was they also did like an air composition test in her trunk. I didn't know you could do this, which is kind of questionable, but they said that the air in her trunk looked like it, because when your body dies, you release a bunch of chemicals into the air, and they said they found those released chemicals in her trunk.
They can do all of that, but they couldn't find out how she died?
Yeah, I was confused too, right? So that was like their second big piece of physical evidence, if they could have any, right? And then the third was that they did a computer analyst search of all, like their household computer. And it looked like Casey had Googled neck breaking along with the term chloroform.
What's that?
Chloroform will knock you out, which is what the state is saying that she did. Knocked her out to suffocate her. Right?
But why? Why would she want to kill her daughter? It's not like she can just leave it with her grandma.
Right?
It doesn't sound like a good reason to kill a daughter.
I don't think there's any good reason.
Yeah, but there's like almost no reason.
There's almost like literally no reason. Not that there ever is, you know, but like sometimes there's like a crazy reason, you know.
Yeah.
But then like this one is like this seems like a normal family, you know. So weird. George goes up onto the stand and he says, "Listen, I never sexually assaulted her. That's my daughter. That's disgusting." But then here's something curious that happened with George. Now, this wasn't really talked about in the trial, and it's going to be talked about very briefly here. But he had tried to take his own life after they found Kaylee's body. And he left a note that said, "I want to be with Kaylee. I can't take this anymore," right? Some people on the internet think that that's because he was scared that they were going to perform a paternity test on him and realize that he might be the father
Oh my
of
God.
Kaylee. I don't know if this is true. Some people are saying this seems like why. And some people are saying he tried to take his life because what she said was true. That he was the one that told her don't turn her in to the police, you know? So it goes either way. I think they're both really extreme. I mean, this entire case is pretty extreme. So obviously the theories about what happened are going to be extreme.
Yeah.
So that's something brief. But he said, no, I never assaulted her. Denied all allegations. And it got weird. Her mom went up onto the stand. And originally you're thinking, okay, Cindy, she seems like a good grandmother. She seems like someone who really cared about Kaylee. But now she's doing everything to protect her daughter. She says, listen, I'm the one that Googled chloroform on our family computer. It wasn't Casey. It was me. And then they're like, okay, but that day that you said that you Googled that, we have records from your work and you were at work. So how could you be at home Googling chloroform?
Yeah.
But that just kind of like flew by. It wasn't like their main piece of evidence. It was just like small things, and the story kept getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah. I mean. Wow.
I will say this. Her defense attorney did a bomb-ass job.
About the father?
About everything. So the man who allegedly called the tip line, right? There was a $5,000 reward for whoever found Kaylee. Casey's attorney brought him onto the stand and said, okay, so you received the $5,000. And he goes, yes, but that doesn't mean I lied. I mean, the body was identified as Kaylee's, and like, I just happened to be there, and there happened to be a reward, right? And then the attorney goes, so it's not true that you told your son that finding Kaylee's body was going to make you rich and famous. And Royce, and he goes, no, that's not true. And next up, they bring up his son. And the son goes,
it was absolutely true. My dad told me that finding her body was going to make us so much money and was going to make us so rich.
What is this family turning on each other, like back and forth? What is going on?
So it got really weird about that, right? Because it's like, okay, did he just find the body? Did he move the body to be closer to the Anthony's house, like in their wooded areas back, you know? What's going on with him? But the judge let it pass, but it wasn't like...
I mean, it does sound really weird that he was peeing in the forest and saw a bag and opened it and he said there's a baby in there. Or, I mean, that sounds just really weird.
So overall, like both sides, they brought in like 50 witnesses. I don't know where most of these witnesses even came from. There was like 70 testimonies from each side of the trial. So the prosecution had so many people. The defense had so many people. Literally, people were watching this like a reality show. Like the last episode of the trial that aired where they were giving the guilty and non-guilty verdict. This is what happened, right? So the prosecution closed with, you don't make, like, let's say what they're saying is true, that it was an accident. She drowned in the family pool. But usually when someone drowns, like, I mean, the body was pretty badly, you know, deteriorating at the time. But still, usually, from what I read online, the prosecution did not say this, but from, like, what other people were saying online, that drowning is... From what they've seen, like cases of people who have drowned, like their bodies will be found so much later on and it's determined to be drowning. But also, let's say it was an accident. Your daughter drowns. Why would you put it in a plastic bag and put duct tape over her mouth? Let's say you don't even want to call the cops. Because you might get arrested. But why would you? So they said...
That's a good point.
So they told the jury, don't be idiots, pretty much. And they said, nobody makes an accident look like a murder. That was kind of how they closed, right?
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. It's like Law and Order SVU, right? And the defense was saying, listen, you guys are emotional. Majority of the jury was women. It was like 7 women, 5 men. Obviously, you guys are emotional. You guys are women. Maybe you have kids. But don't let your emotions make the decision. Where are the facts? Where's the DNA? Where's any of it? There's nothing. She just lost her child. She's emotional too. And guess who? This is what I thought was weird. They had over 60 people testify from each side. Casey did not testify once. She never went on to the stand.
Why?
I don't know. Some people think because she's guilty.
She's guilty, yeah.
But even in the closing statement, the attorney was like, just because she didn't testify doesn't mean she's guilty. So it's like, okay, whatever you say. But apparently, whatever they say worked. On the case of child neglect, child abuse, first-degree murder, all of that, Casey Anthony was found not guilty. She was only found guilty for 4 counts of lying to the police, where she would receive a year for every charge, and $1,000 fine. So $4,000 and 4 years in jail. But they even went on to say, because you already spent about 2-something years in jail waiting for this trial to happen, we're going to use that for your 4 years. So you really only have to go back to jail for like maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, depending on good behavior.
Wow.
And had to pay $4,000. She was known as America's most hated woman at one point. They had to secure her. They wouldn't even tell people like where she was going, what jail and stuff, because like people were scared that someone was gonna kill her. Because people were pissed. Like even on talk shows, you know, I think it's called The View, like the talk show. There was a woman who was reading, one of the talk show hosts, she was reading the guilty verdict or the non-guilty verdict, and she started crying, so someone else had to take over. Like people were pissed. People were like,
wait, why? I mean,
because, you know, some people are even calling it, like, this is the first time I've heard of people complaining about the CIA age. So they're saying back in the day, like, not even back in the day, but, like, even, like, maybe 10 years ago, you would be put in jail from circumstantial evidence. Because it's like, okay, all signs kind of point to you, right? But then now it's like, unless you have DNA and fingerprints at the scene and my confession, I ain't going to jail for shit. Which could be good, could be bad, but in this case, people were like, why are we doing this? We shouldn't be doing this. Like, this
or
is
just
bad.
depends on the jury, right?
Yeah. And then people were mad at the jury too, as in like, how can there be, like, not saying men have no hearts, but like women can usually connect more with mothers.
She's free now.
She's out of jail now.
She's living in Florida.
Yeah, so then the prosecution went back and they can't try her again, obviously, because double jeopardy, you can't try her. Double jeopardy, I'm an idiot. So instead they're like, okay, let's raise her fines from $1,000 to hell of a lot more money because she lied to us so much that we wasted so much of our manpower and our tax dollars sending these police officers on these wild goose chases. And so the judge allowed that it would come up to a total of $217,000 that she owed to the state of Florida, right? Which is kind of a lot, but like not really when you got away with, okay, maybe she didn't, but like, you know, she still got away with like child neglect. Come on, you couldn't call the cops within 31 days? That to me is wild, right? So then,
but she still didn't tell the true story, did she?
No.
She's telling the story of the kids died, the father
it was
found
a drowning.
it. Oh, that's her story. Got it.
I don't know how they didn't find her guilty of at least child neglect when you didn't report it. She was released due to those fines and then all the other fines that she has, probably from that pretty good lawyer that she had. She had to file in 2013, 2 years after her release or something like that. She had to file for bankruptcy because she owes, I think, anywhere from like, people were estimating around like, I think $700,000 to $1 million of liabilities. And she only has about $1,000 in cash and assets.
Wait,
and
I didn't know
everything.
bankruptcy can clear. She owns $200,000 to the. That bankruptcy takes care of that too.
Probably. Yeah.
No way.
Probably.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Then fine me $10 billion. I'll file the bankruptcy too.
So then, yeah, isn't that crazy? Here's what's crazier. This is where I said I'm gonna blow your mind with a full circle revelation. Everyone's wondering, okay, what is she up to now? America's once most hated woman, right? Where could she be now?
Mango snoring is out of this world.
Yeah. Wow, sounds like a freaking vacuum. At one point, she gave an interview recently where they said, okay, so what do you think happened to your daughter, right? Because you said you didn't do it.
Okay.
And then she's kind of given up this whole drowning thing. She's making it sound like someone murdered her daughter.
She changed her story.
Kind of, yeah. And then here's the creepier part. She says, I don't know what happened. I also don't know who did it. And then she goes on to say,
What?
but, I mean, it's not me. And, like, people who think it's me, whatever, I don't care. Like, pretty much F the haters, you know?
No.
And then she went on to say, I sleep pretty well at night.
No.
And then this is where people are analyzing it. And they're like, okay, but if you don't know what happened to your daughter or who did it, you don't sleep well at night, especially if you serve time for it. You don't sleep well at night. You don't just go, nah, it was a rough couple of years.
Or you want to find out who the hell killed your daughter. Or either, oh, I forgive that person, I'm moving on. Or, no, I want to know who did it. So she obviously knew more.
Oh, and then this is the angry part. People have no idea how she's making her money right now. How are you surviving? Because no one's gonna hire her. She's like literally hated. Also, she tried to sell her book, but no publisher wants to even publish her because it's not like you're a victim. It's not like you have a crazy, amazing story. You're like a pathological liar who lied about working at Universal Studios. Even a book publishing house is like, I don't want to touch that, right? So she can't even sell her book. And last time people heard of her, some people said she was working as dun 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 a nanny. Yep. A nanny.
No, but who would hire her as a nanny?
I heard someone on her legal defense team, someone who worked at the law office who defended her, that she was a live-in nanny for them. I don't know if she still is. It's been a couple years, but
After she, her own child was.
Could you imagine, like, okay, so what I'm looking for in a nanny to take care of my child and to live in my home is I would like you to have been accused of murder of your own child at least once or twice, you know? Oh, you do? You have? Oh my God, I've been looking so long for this. You're perfect for the job. God, it's a God gift from heaven.
Wow.
I don't know what to say to that. I know usually I'm really easy on people who like are accused of things and aren't convicted. But I really can't say if I believe that she did it or didn't. I feel like I personally might believe maybe, right? Because I can't think of anything else that makes sense. But I mean, the facts are there. She admitted to not calling the police within 31 days. I mean, that's insane. Yeah. So now they passed a Casey's law.
No.
Yeah, it's called Kaylee or Casey. I don't know if they named it after the kid or the mom. I think it's actually after the mom. And it says that if you don't call the cops after your child disappears, that in itself is a crime. So, like, you can't get away with it.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so, like, if you know that your child is missing or has been murdered or something, you can't just be like, that's my child, I do what I want, I don't have to call the cops. It's like, nope, it's illegal not to, you know? You know what I've always wondered? Like, because my aunt's, okay, again, not to compare a child to a dog, but my aunt's dog passed away, and I remember that my mom was confused about what my aunt should do with the dog's body.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, so they were like, if we bury it in the backyard, like, is that weird? Or they were saying, like, you know, if you bring it somewhere, is that weird? And they were like, how do you do that? Apparently you bring it to your local vet.
Like, imagine bringing your dead dog. I don't know, that's kind of really, can you imagine, like, carrying Mango?
Oh, we gotta go cuddle our dogs now. We're so annoying. That's gonna be it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think happened in this case. Do you guys know? This case was so big, so long, so many details. If you guys know any other details, leave it in the comments because I'm curious to know. And I love you guys so, so much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Oh, wait. What was the best chicken nugget? Shit. I like the Chick-fil-A.
I like this one.
The chicken oysters from Crack Shack.
Yeah.
I liked the Chick-fil-A, and honestly, in this grand scheme
It
of
looks
things,
like, if I have to guess, I would say McDonald's.
McDonald's wasn't bad, yeah.
You killed that.
Yeah. McDonald's was actually pretty good, because everything else was super chickeny, and McDonald's was pretty bland, so I could taste the sauces.
We all know which one's the worst.
Sorry, KFC. That's gonna be it. See you tomorrow.